Hey guys, in today's video, I want to go over a game of Scrabble that recently took place that simply has to be seen to be believed. It was played on Woogles between Hastybot and Trenton Charlson, an expert-rated player from Ohio who I've had several interesting tournament games against myself. Now, in this game, Hastybot was first and had a very strong rack, AEMNPT blank, and Hastybot opened with payment for 76 points. As typical for Hastybot, its highest scoring bingo, along with a few others. Trenton had a very nice rack himself, though, CEINST blank, and he makes a nice play here. He has a single double-double, hooking his S to make payments of new stick, and he finds it, jumping into the lead 93 to 76. Hastybot draws reasonably well after its opening bingo, but with 4 vowels and a Y, it doesn't quite have a second consecutive bingo. It plays A for 28 points, getting rid of its Y and one of its vowels, and setting up a nice line for 7-letter bingos ending in an S with say. Trenton draws really well other than the Q, so he's very happy to drop the Q with Chi for 31, keeping a very nice 6-tile leave that he'll hopefully bingo with on his next turn. Hastybot draws 2 more vowels, so with 5 vowels now, it smartly plays off 3 of them with O, a nice overlap for 15 points. Trenton draws an O, which actually does not give him a bingo, as promising as this rack looks. He makes what I think is a very solid play here. He plays loin for 17 points. I like this play because it takes the front E for E-loin, so with a very nice DER leave in hand, Trenton gives himself another line to bingo on the 2 row, hooking his E on a future turn. He could play Nicol, getting rid of the same letters for 1 more point, but for the reason I mentioned before, I think this is a very astute play on his part, sacrificing a point to give himself another bingo line with a strong leave. Hastybot does manage, however, to bingo through the L Trenton just opened with Sedulity for 76, its only playable bingo. However, its lead would be short-lived as Trenton draws well and he has 2 7-letter words on his rack, Gladier and Glared. However, deciding which of these words to play and where is far from an easy decision. He has 3 options. He can play Glared for 66 points above the S and E of Sedulity, Gladier in the same spot for 67, or he can play Gladier with Rem, which scores a little bit more, it scores 68, but at least at first it seems by far the most risky since it's the only one that opens a triple-triple. If Trenton plays Gladier here and Hastybot is able to bingo through that G, covering both triple word scores, then Hastybot's going to score well into the triple digits, which would be an absolutely devastating blow for Trenton. However, the thing is, such catastrophic outcomes are extremely unlikely, especially with both blanks already played and Hastybot having just bingoed and thus drawing 7 completely random tiles out of the pool. While a play like Gladier or Glared above the S and E of Sedulity doesn't open such a catastrophic possibility, it opens a much more likely 40 to 50 point response. Because now if Hastybot has any of the numerous 3 or 4 point tiles that go above the ES that Trenton has now opened right below a triple word score, of which there are 8, 2 Bs, 2 Fs, 2 Hs, an M, and a P, then Hastybot is probably going to be scoring a very healthy number of points with an overlap above the letters in Trenton's bingo. And while a 40 or 50 point play of course isn't going to hurt as much as a triple-triple, it's far more likely. So Trenton's got to decide here, does he want to give up a fairly likely 40 to 50 point play, or the occasional freak triple-triple with Gladier, but if Hastybot doesn't triple-triple, it's probably much less likely to cause damage in the 40 to 50 point range. Trenton decided to play a little bit safer and go with Glared above the S and the E. Personally, I would have actually gone over here just because, like I said before, the risk of a catastrophic outcome is so low, and I don't want to give back such an easy 40 or 50 point play so often, but I certainly understand why Trenton came to the decision of playing Glared above the S and the E. In any case, fortunately for Trenton, Hastybot did not have a good rack to punish his decision. In fact, Hastybot has almost no good plays in the spot Trenton just opened, holding 5 vowels and a V, and instead plays Voice, scoring 21 points, opening a different area of the board and cleaning up its rack. Trenton also can't really use the spot he just opened because the C and the W don't go before the ES to form a valid 3-letter word. So he plays Yellow for 39 points on the right, taking out another hot spot and scoring quite well. This looks like his best play. Trenton is now in the lead by about 30 points. However, Hastybot has now drawn the H, which is going to allow it to score well on top, finally using the spot Trenton opened a couple turns ago, playing Hour, overlapping He's and Ode for 43 points and jumping back into the lead. And now holding ABCFIOS, Trenton makes what I would say is his first significant mistake of the game. His best play appears to be pretty comfortably vocab for 39 points from the V of voice, scoring well and keeping a very reasonable FIS leave. However, this is a notoriously tough word to see. There aren't a whole lot of words that start with a V and end with a B, so it's very possible that Trenton missed it. Or maybe Trenton had other ideas. In any case, he played Fob for 20 points. The leave is actually a little bit better, because the C is a better bingo tile than the F. However, he does give back 19 points here, so theoretically it's not the optimal play, but like I said, maybe he had other ideas. We'll see. In any case, HastyBot capitalized on Trenton's decision to not use the V, as it played Vaxed for 51 points, its clear best play. Trenton now makes another very interesting decision. His best play, in my opinion, would be the aggressive CAD under the F and O of Fob that he just opened. He's down a little bit, so I like the aggression of this play, setting up his S to make SCAD in a potential bingo or high-scoring play down at the triple word column on the left-hand side of the board. Now, it's true that there's another S left that HastyBot could have, but with 28 tiles still in the bag, it's not that likely. And given Trenton's down, it's a good time for him to take a risk like this, in my opinion. Trenton here decided to play a little bit safer with Podia, which is also a 7-point sacrifice. So, again, not a choice I personally agree with, but maybe Trenton has other ideas. We'll see. HastyBot doesn't draw particularly well. It offloads its V and one of its Rs by playing Arvo hooking Voicer for 25 points, holding a 50-plus point lead. And Trenton is getting closer to a bingo, but he's not quite there. The G goes really poorly with the rest of his rack, so he needs to get rid of it. And here he makes a play I really like. He plays Ged for 14 points to the D. This is the same idea I wanted him to execute on the previous turn, because now he sets up Aged with his A, and keeps a super powerful ACEST leave, which is very likely to bingo. And there's only one A left, so if HastyBot doesn't have that A, it's going to be really difficult, or in some cases impossible, for HastyBot to adequately address Trenton's threat. And indeed, that's exactly what happened, because HastyBot had a major vowel shortage on its next turn. So it played Zing for 43 points, scoring well, and getting rid of 3 of its consonants, but leaving that huge opening that Trenton created. And Trenton draws amazingly well here. He draws a J and a K. Now you might be thinking, that's not amazing. He's trying to bingo and he drew 2 high-scoring tiles. Well, yes, but he has Jackets for 131 points, which will catapult him into the lead by about 50. However, wait for it, because Jackets is not what Trenton played here, guys. Trenton found something a heck of a lot better. And I want to give you guys an opportunity to pause the video and see if you can figure out what did Trenton play here that was better than Jackets for 131 points. Now, this play is just absolutely mind-blowing. It's one of the longest words I've ever seen played as a bingo on a Scrabble board, and it's also one of the highest scoring words I've ever seen played on a Scrabble board that's not a triple-triple. In this position, Trenton played a 13, yes guys, a 13-letter bingo, extending yellow to make Yellow Jackets for 161 points. And, I mean, I'm not even sure what to say here, guys. Like, what an incredible play. It's hard to imagine seeing Jackets for 131 and not just slapping it down instantly. I feel very confident. I would have just been so excited to see this as an option and just played it without even second thought. But somehow, Trenton had the discipline to see this and not just immediately hit enter and look at the whole board and think, maybe I have a better play than Jackets for 131, which is already really dang good. And he found it. Yellow Jackets for 161, jumping into the lead 457 to 378. However, the game is still not over because HastyBot could still bingo and catch back up. HastyBot, though, doesn't have one here, and it's forced to play Grip for 14, keeping the nice HIRS leave. And here, Trenton plays Bowman for 45 points, hooking Aged, scoring very well, and putting himself up by 110. However, amazingly, this is actually a slight inaccuracy. And you might be thinking, how is this an inaccuracy? He goes up 110 points, so surely that's going to be enough to beat even a high-scoring bingo that HastyBot might get. However, the danger lies in the fact that Trenton empties the bag with Bowman. As you guys can see on the right, there are 6 tiles in the bag. Bowman is a 6-tile play. So the bag is going to be completely empty after this play, which means if Hastybot were to bingo, then Hastybot would be bingoing out, ending the game on the spot, which would not only deprive Trenton of another turn to play off his tiles, but also would give Hastybot double the value of all of Trenton's remaining tiles as a bonus. So if Hastybot is able to bingo for a lot and Trenton also has 7 tiles on his rack, it could be pretty close. And indeed, it turns out that there is one possible way, just one, that Trenton could lose after Bowman. If Hastybot happens to have the rack EFIORTU out of this bag, then Hastybot is going to bingo without fired to the D in Vaxxed for 98 points. And I'll leave you guys to check the math that if that happens, Hastybot is going to end up winning the game by 8. There are a number of other bingos that play to the D, such as Thirsted, that are going to score 89, but these will still result in a 1-point win for Trenton. So the only way he loses after Bowman is, again, specifically if Hastybot has outfired. What are the odds of that, you might be wondering? According to my calculations, the odds of that would be 16 out of 1,716, which is just shy of 1%. So it's extremely unlikely, but it's not impossible. What Trenton technically should have done here is sacrifice 9 points to play Woman, not emptying the bag. The logic here is that if Hastybot bingos, then it's not going to bingo out, and Trenton will get another turn to score and dispose of some of his tiles. I'll leave you guys to check that even if Hastybot does manage to hit outfired, then regardless of what tile Trenton leaves in the bag for Hastybot to draw, Trenton is going to be able to score enough points with his resulting rack to win in the endgame. So just a reminder here, guys, whenever you're up especially, be very, very careful about emptying the bag, because even 100+ point leads can be dicey when you empty the bag and allow your opponent to bingo out and get a whole bunch of bonus points from your rack. In this case, it only cost Trenton just under 1% of winning percentage, so not a whole lot, but there are a lot of situations when it can be a costly mistake, and I have seen many, many games of Scrabble lost, even at the expert level, just because someone emptied the bag when it wasn't absolutely necessary. So the question is, did Trenton get punished for emptying the bag and playing Bowman? It turns out that he did not, because while Hastybot did bingo out, it did not bingo out with outfired, and it didn't score enough. Hastybot bingoed with Theorize for 76 points, bringing it to 468. It got 20 bonus points from Trenton's now unplayed 7 tiles, and the game ended with Trenton winning 502 to 488. So an epic conclusion to a truly epic game. Now what I love about this game is obviously the most epic part by far was Yellow Jackets. I mean, that is just one of the most incredible plays you will ever see over a Scrabble board. I've never played a bingo myself that's 11 or more letters. And here, Trenton again not only played a 13, but he played a 13 for a whopping 161 points. A point value you almost always would only ever see on a triple-triple. So just absolutely incredible stuff there. But what's also cool is this game had some other really interesting and educational positions, like the Glared versus Gladiator decision I talked about earlier, or the Bowman decision that Trenton faced later in the game. So some really awesome stuff there, some absolute fireworks, and also some instructive positions. So shout out to Trenton for playing this amazing game, and in particular for this absolutely sick find of Yellow Jackets that will absolutely live in Scrabble lore forever. And thank you all so much for watching and supporting my channel. Really hope you enjoyed and learned something from this video. If you enjoyed this video, then please consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. And thank you all again for watching. I will see you all soon and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.